Carson Wentz has a new home with the Indianapolis Colts. Wentz has already been in contact with his new teammates, and he's excited for the future. The Carson Wentz saga in Indianapolis is off to a dramaless start. Well, it was until now. So close. Real quick, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you never miss a video on the road to 100K, and stick around to the end of the video to find out how you can win an NFL jersey of your choice. Wentz has worn number 11 since college at North Dakota State. It's been the number that everyone associated him with during his tenure with the Philadelphia Eagles. Enter Michael Pittman Jr. The wide receiver is coming off of his first year in the pros and has made it clear he will not be giving up his number 11 that he wore as a rookie. Pittman told TMZ,
"I am number 11. I don't think that there's any deal that is going to be done."
We see players try to purchase a jersey number from their teammates a lot in the NFL. Wentz signed that monster 4-year, $128 million extension with the Eagles in 2019. So if Pittman had a price for that number 11, Wentz could surely meet it. But it sounds like that Wentz may just want to start fresh. Wentz reached out to Pittman to see how locked in he was on that number 11. And Pittman apparently told him that,
"Yeah, so I spoke to him, and he was just seeing like how like locked in I was to 11, and I told him that I was locked in, and he was like, 'That's cool, bro, because I'm probably gonna switch anyway.'"
Pittman appreciated the gesture from his new passer, saying,
He asked me very I'm trying to think respectfully, and I just appreciate him for that. I think that he's a great dude because lots of guys with his status, like, they would come in and they would like demand and stuff like that.
Personally, I found it a little odd that Pittman is so attached to the number 11. He started his Colts career with number 86 and wore number 6 at USC. So I'm not really sure where the number 11 came into play, but whatever it is, it's clearly important to him. Luckily, it looks like Wentz has already developed a good relationship with Pittman. Pittman said that he and Wentz are planning to get together to work out and train. Pittman said,
"He's just a super chill guy, and I can't wait to get with him and start throwing and stuff."
Pittman is one of many different Colts that have talked to Wentz after the trade. He already has a nice relationship with two of his newest defensive backs, Kenny Moore and Julian Blackmon. Moore posted a photo on social media of him on FaceTime with Wentz. Blackmon also took to social media, showing that the former Eagles quarterback reached out to him, saying, "Just wanted to reach out and let you know I'm fired up to compete with you, man. You're a heck of a player, and I look forward to our battles in practice. Reach out anytime, and I look forward to meeting soon." To which Blackmon responded, "We're fired up to have a leader like you on the team. Can't wait to compete with the best every day." I think these exchanges that Carson Wentz has already had with his new teammates in Julian Blackmon, Kenny Moore, and even Michael Pittman Jr., which sounded like it went pretty well, is a really, really good sign for the future of Carson Wentz. I think there were a lot of concerns coming in after this trade with Carson Wentz and what everything was going to look like with the Indianapolis Colts. Things clearly didn't end very well in Philadelphia with Doug Peterson. There's been reports that have come out in the last coming days that, basically him and Peterson just completely stopped talking, which is, if you're a starting quarterback and you're not even talking to your head coach, your team's clearly in a really, really bad spot. Carson Wentz was far from the toxic player on the Eagles. I believe that the front office was really the issue, and with everything boiling down when it came with the Eagles. The Eagles did a horrible, horrible job of building around Carson Wentz. They were really never able to put good receivers around him. Zach Ertz was fantastic at tight end, and Dallas Goedert also was great in that spot. But when it came to the wide receivers, Alshon Jeffrey was probably the best wide receiver that he had, and that's no slight to Alshon Jeffrey, but he's certainly not a top receiver in the league. I think the Colts have learned their lesson with not building around a young passer. We saw how bad everything ended in the Andrew Luck saga, and essentially the Colts just refused to put an offensive line around Andrew Luck. And I think because of that, they were able to learn their lesson of, we need to make sure, more than anything, if we have a young guy in here that we think is a great player, that we're putting everything around him to succeed. And I think that the Colts head coach Frank Reich completely understands that. Reich was with the Eagles, and he was the biggest reason of why the Eagles were able to go on and win that Super Bowl. Carson Wentz had an MVP caliber season working with Reich before everything went down. Wentz ends up tearing his ACL, and that's the end of his season. Nick Foles steps in and he goes on to win a Super Bowl, and Eagles fans are thrilled. Now in Indianapolis, Carson Wentz already has some pretty good weapons. Michael Pittman, I think, is going to be a huge get. T.Y. Hilton, he's not the same player he used to be, but he's going to be fantastic playing with Carson Wentz. There's definitely been a step down the last couple years. I remember right before Andrew Luck retired, we didn't have a lot of subs at the time, but me and Darren had made some kind of preview for the season, and I actually said that the Colts were going to win the Super Bowl. They had a fantastic offense, fantastic defense, and Andrew Luck behind center I thought was just such a good quarterback, and I thought he'd have a chance to take him to the Super Bowl. And everything fell apart really fast after he retired. And personally, that's the biggest shock that I've had when it comes to just a player retiring kind of out of nowhere. I remember talking to Darren right after it happened, and it made no sense, but I feel bad more than anything just for Indianapolis Colts fans. And I kind of grew up a Colts fan. I'm a huge Peyton Manning fan. I have been my whole life. I'm a Tennessee football fan, even though I go to Virginia Tech. And I was a Colts fan when Manning played for the Colts. I was a Broncos fan when he played for the Broncos. So, I guess I have somewhat of an attachment to the Colts, but I feel so bad for the Indianapolis fans. I truly do believe that they were one step away from winning a Super Bowl, and Andrew Luck retiring, I think, made sense in his life, and he had dealt with so much, but I really think that Carson Wentz is going to be able to come in to Indianapolis and really change things. When everything came out with Carson Wentz and what would happen with the trade, I personally was like, I will be shocked if he goes anywhere other than Indianapolis. I get why he was linked to the Chicago Bears, and I get why so many other teams were inquiring about Wentz, because Wentz is a good player. He is, but personally, nothing made more sense than the Indianapolis Colts. Frank Reich, he knows what Carson Wentz can do. He knows his limitations, and he knows exactly what he needs to do in order to get Wentz back to an MVP level that he was playing at in 2017. Is a leader. I think Phillip Rivers couldn't quite get to that leader status just because he was on a one-year deal, and you knew that, maybe this guy isn't the future. He's probably going to retire after this season. So you didn't want to put a lot of stock into him. Now you have a guy that you just traded for that has a huge contract. Technically, the Colts took on less than $100 million because the Eagles were able to swallow up a lot of it. But you now have Carson Wentz, and you know this guy is your future. You're paying him a ton of money, and you're now going to have him playing around a very good roster. A lot of Carson Wentz truthers, they didn't believe that the Eagles had a good roster around him, and that's why he struggled so much. And the numbers would back that up to an extent. Wentz played behind a really banged up Eagles offensive line last year. He got sacked a lot, most of which weren't his fault, in my personal opinion. Like watching him play versus Russell Wilson. Wilson, a lot of the time he gets sacked, it's his fault because he extends play so much. Wentz would have, half a second to throw the football, which is certainly not on him. But now getting to see him behind that Colts line that has Quentin Nelson, it's going to be night and day. Carson is going from one of the worst offensive lines in the league to one of the best. And personally, I think that he, Frank Reich, and his new number 11 wide receiver, Michael Pittman, are just going to tear it up. Thanks for watching. We're closing in on 100K, so help us get there by subscribing and turning on that bell notification. Once we hit the milestone, we will be doing a giveaway of an NFL jersey of your choice. All you need to do is put a screenshot on your Instagram story of you subscribed to our channel, and then just make sure to follow and tag us to enter.